Hi, it's me again with laser tips and tricks, and I did 26 of these little cheap boxes from Michael's this morning from somebody, and you can see they have a sloped edge, so it's a little bit of a difficulty putting it in the top left corner of your laser because you can't really see it, and if your rulers, don't have much of a lip, and if you don't know if you're backed up to it, and so on and so on. So I just laid out two pieces of MDF that are square, and then I just laid it in that rectangle. I put my home. I don't know if it'll come up. You can't see it. I put the red dot pointer right there, and then I ran the job with it in the left-hand corner. Now, the advantage to this, and this is what I sent to the customer, so she could kind of see the wood and the exact size and where the latch was going to go. So I was making sure I was right. But to me, the biggest advantage to putting it here is when I run my red, I'd run a vector line to test it to make sure I've got the right dimensions, and two, I'm in the right spot before I run the job. So I put the red dot pointer right on that very tip of the corner, and then I ran a deal, and it traced this box. Now it'll quit on this one and this one because of the fact that it sinks it on the edge, and Corel or Epilogue or Corel or won't let it burn that close to the rulers. But if you're on these two corners, you're correct. To me, it's a lot easier to see. And by having it, this is 12 inches. This is 12-inch MDF I use a lot. I even have a hole drilled in it where I hang it on the wall. But I can see a lot better that it's down that line because I'm almost on top of it. This is a big Fusion 40 by 28, and I'm 6'4", and if you put it up in that corner, and it's just more reassuring that this 1/4 inch is maybe a little bit thicker than your rulers. Now my rulers are pretty nice, but if and I run everything on my vector bed. I don't have a raster bed because I cut much more stuff than I engrave, or both. So anyway, kind of try that. It does a couple things. On a box this height, it doesn't help you that much. It does keep a little bit of smoke off your rulers, being this far away. I don't know how important this is, but you're running it on a different section of the belt, constantly back and forth, because you're about 6 inches off or 8 inches off the edge. So if you ran everything up here, now you're running everything over here. I don't really think that has anything to help, but it's just a thought. So if you ever have even if this box was square and flat-sided, I still might do this. Now, if it was square and flat-sided, I might run multiples at a time. But in my case, where I'm going to sand it anyway, one is good enough because then you don't have any dead space. This particular deal, if you made another copy of this, and if you don't know what I'm talking about with dead space, I grabbed an indexing line. If you don't know what I'm talking about in dead space, if you ran a job like this is dead space. This space between the two letters is dead. The laser's having to run back and forth, so this is dead space. And if you think about it, especially in this case, let's add one more. Let's make a duplicate of that, and let's run one more. Let's run 3 across. There's as much dead space as there is one of the text. So if you ran a rectangle, made a duplicate of it, and for that rectangle, and then made a duplicate of that rectangle, so the dead space is more than your engraving part, and I hope that makes sense. So by running one at a time, the laser is just having to go back and forth to here. Running 3 at a time, it's having to go back and forth, back and forth. This is all dead space. It's not writing. It's not engraving. So this is going to take longer than 3 times the amount. Matter of fact, I might run out there and run a time test and just make another video on that. Anyway, I know that's just a little bit of a tidbit, but I thought I'd throw that in there. Maybe it'll help somebody. Thank you for watching.